Hello, my name is Miguel Yuliez, and this is the IAT4 project where we have to make a level with three paths that lead to the end goal. The starting point is this light tower with this pillar to signify that it's the light tower, and the distance you can see in the far corner that there's another light tower that is the end goal. There's three paths. There's the bottom path, which you take these steps down to lead to the ground level. And from there, there's like a lot of enemies in your way, and then you would have to go back to the steps in the other light tower and get to the top. The second path is this tunnel, which you can slowly get to from like just going down the steps, and then you see the tunnel. Um, that leads to this open area in the corner, which leads to another tunnel, which leads to a higher point for the steps. And then the last one is the floating island. The floating island is probably the fastest path. You you jump on those floating floors, and then it brings you to like a higher point in those tower steps. Um, I'll go through the floating island first. Never mind, I'm gonna go through the ground level first. Um, I have lots of enemies scattered throughout. Well, the mannequins signify the enemies I'll put in later. These spheres signify the interactable lanterns, and what the lanterns do is that I'm gonna have it so that this entire area deals damage to the player, and interacting with these spheres will create light zones, which will it'll create a radius in which the player will not be damaged. It gives a sort of like a resting point for the players to figure out what they're going to do next. However, the enemies can still go into the safe zone and can still hit you, so you have to deal with enemies. Um, this donut shape is meant to be a placeholder for the cube fruits, which I'm going to implement. They're going to serve as the collectible for the level. These are scattered throughout the entire level, and they're just hidden in places that you would like go out of your way to find. Um, I'm contemplating whether or not I want to have them heal the player to full health or not as a way, because since the player's gonna be taking damage all the time, it would they wouldn't be incentivized to go and collect all the fruits, but healing the player to full will cause them to explore more. And as you can see in the distance over there, you can see another cube fruit placeholder, and on top of there too. Um, as for the general color scheme, I didn't get to go and color code everything yet. However, I plan on making the color scheme mostly white, gray, and black, to further signify that the overall setting is this unfamiliar bleached place that's abandoned. So that's general color scheme. I didn't get to apply any of that yet later. These big big blocks are meant to serve as abandoned buildings like skyscrapers and just overall office buildings. So when I get to further detailing it, it's going to have door frames. You're not going to be able to go in because that would take a lot of work to go and make every floor. But you will be able to like see the door frames and the windows and all of that. So let me just get to the end goal real quick, and I'll try and get to the floating island again. Another thing I want to improve upon is the steps to get to the top of the tower, because as you saw earlier, it's easy to mess up. I was thinking about adding fall damage or uh, like a limit to how far you can fall before you have to reset. But I'm deciding against it because I feel like falling down and then having to deal with the enemies, since there's less enemies on the floating pillars or the floating islands. Um, I feel like that's a penalty enough. Okay, well, that's the presentation.